Welcome to the Tactical Business Podcast. I'm your host, Wade Skalsky. And today I'm talking with Dwight Settle from Seal1. Dwight, how are you doing today, sir?
Good, Wade. Yourself?
I'm good. We're the wonders of modern technology. We're covering the whole country. You're out in California, and I'm here in Virginia Beach, and so we're getting a little bit of both coasts today.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you about your business, but before we get into that, sort of, what was your journey into where you are now? Like, I'm assuming you didn't just come out of the womb owning a business.
No, it's originally from Texas. I like to say, born, bred, and raised there in Texas, and the Navy brought me out to California back in '78. And boot camp, saw this film, a recruiting film for the teams that they called Someone Special. You know, we like to call it Someone Stupid, jokingly, of course, but, it showed the guys scuba diving, skydiving, shooting, and blowing things up. And I was like, that's for me. I want to do that. And so passed the screening test and then finished boot camp, A school, came through training in '79, and the 4 years that I joined the Navy for turned into about 21, and I retired, and so I'm still out in Coronado, and so did some life insurance for a couple of years. So I went from a high-speed, low-drag job to a high drag, low speed job. Then got into real estate, had an accident, broke my back. And when I was recovering, kind of fell into this product and went into business with two business partners. One of them was a longtime friend, Tony Payne, and he's still my business partner. He was a Marine. We met in the Philippines in 1981. And then the other business partner was the guy that developed the product. But when we went into business, he proposed that, he would make the product for me. And I was like, well, look, I didn't develop the product. I didn't make it, so I can't sell it as my product. I like the product, played with it. It works awesome. But so I can sell it, but I can't act like it's mine. So I was like, let's go into business together. But now the company owns the formula, and that's what we agreed to in 2011. So we're now in our 15th year in business, and the product, the Seal1 CLP Plus. If you have used it, you realize, that it's there's really not a lot out there that does what this does, and how easy it is, how simple to use. But it is different than what if you've been shooting for a while, and what we've been taught to use, and all, especially with petroleum-based products, that. Ours is different because ours is you're putting it on and wiping it off, but you're not putting anything else on there. You're just using the one product. You're putting it on and wiping it off, and that's all you have to do. Mm-hmm. So we say a wipe on, wipe off, like the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi, the wipe on, wipe off part. And so you wipe it on to clean it, wipe it off to lubricate it, and you're good to go. So,
and I can tell you, as someone who's like a complete amateur when it comes to shooting at all levels, it's like gun maintenance is something that's always kind of like a bugaboo for me, right? So anything that makes that easier to do and that I have to do less, definitely is something that is in my wheelhouse of wanting to try out. So when you got, so it's funny, so you guys have been in business since 2011. You have that partnership that you started. People kind of have mixed views on going into business with people that are your friends. I'm along the lines of that. I've always had good experiences doing that. It seems like you guys have done that. Like, what has made that partnership successful over time? Because business will put a lot of different stressors on you. And so how do you guys handle that? You know, what are some advice that you can give to some people with regards to that?
Well, it does, and through the years, I mean, both Tony and I, have when, because you have disagreements, everybody's going to have disagreements. That's just, human nature. And, but we always came back to that. Listen, this is the business. This is not our friendship. And, it's don't let, Tony likes to quote, from the Godfather, it's not personal, it's business.
Mhm.
So, I know that's one thing that we've had to come back on, you know, a few times through the years, because it's, at times you get into this and, you got to remember it is a business. This is not a hobby. Um, so, um, but it's communication also,
Well,
you
yeah, I think that's a sort of a good heuristic for if you're going to go into business with someone is that do they have the ability to be pragmatic, right? So,
right.
if they're ruled by their emotions, then that's not really going to be a great fit because when you're going to have those disagreements over the next 5, 10, 15 years, things can get hot, as you know. And I think if you can be pragmatic at times, I think that's a strong principle to go by. And I think it's good advice. So in the
Yeah.
beginning, so you're with your buddy in the beginning, you guys open the company. How did you sort of get your customers at first, right? So, because like 2011, I mean, obviously the internet was around, and so did you go that route, or were you more like a brick and mortar, or how did you do that?
Um, well, since, like one thing with the TUA community, it's always been the two-step distribution system. You have your manufacturers, you get into the distributors who get it out to the dealers, retailers, right?
Hmm.
Um, so when we first started, it was okay, yeah, the internet's there, so we would have a website, but we were not selling directly to the consumer. We were doing strictly B2B, just doing business. And with our background, we decided to, with our product, first concentrate on law enforcement and mainly the tactical side, with going into the LE, the SWAT teams and all, just because we knew people in that world, right? So, while also talking to um, distributors and you know getting into the system that way, right? Um, and working it. So I mean, it's still, we're still looking to get into other distributors. That's where our business model is still kind of based on that two-step distribution, but from expanding our product, because the nice thing about our product, even though it was designed for cleaning firearms, it does way more, you know. So it's like think of like a 3-in-1 oil WD-40 that our product does everything that those do, a lot more. And when we say non-toxic, we actually mean non-toxic that you can, if it was eaten, gotten on your skin or, whatever, it's not going to kill you. You don't have to rush to the hospital because you ingested it. You're going to be fine. Our product comes in a paste, a liquid, and an aerosol. We also have pre-saturated patches and a pre-saturated microfiber rag that we call the gun rag that is in place of silicone cloth and all. Because
is that something that I could just order the cloth and I just rub the gun down and then I'm done, sort of thing, or is that something where I still have to put the product on there and then rub it off with the cloth?
well, yeah, the cloth is to kind of help when, let's say, you carry all day, right? You're concealed carry. Summertime, you're sweating on the firearm and everything. So you're going to want to wipe the sweat, the moisture off, right? So that's what the gun rag is good for, kind of wiping it down at the end of the day and still keeping it protected. But any of the internals, that microfiber cloth's not going to really get into it. But you didn't shoot, you just carried. And then another good thing with our product is, since there's no residue because you've wiped it all off, one, it's not going to stain your clothes. It's not going to attract the dust and lint from, carrying in your waistband, in a bag, so for ladies that, keep it in the purse or whatever. So dirt and dust, sand, whatever, is not attracted to stick to it. So you don't have to worry about any of that happening. And there's no oils to stain anything. So yeah, the rag is good for, like, at the end of the day, if you're on a hunting trip, you're at a 3-gun match, or just at the range and you've shot and you just like to wipe it off, then that's where that really comes in good.
So I'm assuming, though, you didn't have all those products when you started. It basically was just like the flagship product, probably, right? How did you decide
Yeah.
how did you decide to expand from that product, and how long did it take you before you had, like, your second product?
Well, the initial 2 products are our paste and a liquid.
Okay.
And the paste is our base product. So every ingredient that goes into that is food grade. So we're on the USDA bio preferred product list. And then we put a carrier agent into the paste to make the liquid. So those were our first 2 products. And then it was really just about a year later, people were asking for an aerosol pump spray. So we were able to take our liquid, which is actually, it's pretty thick. It's more of like a gel, but both our paste and liquid at 104 degrees will turn into a complete liquid. As it warms up, it liquefies, and then as it cools down, it goes back to its natural state. It's not going to harm it, not going to change it. And people keep asking about a shelf life. We have not found one yet. From the original product first being made, which has been over 25 years from when this formula was first brought out, or conceived of. We still have those. So there is no shelf life. And now sometimes, because all of our products are natural, and there's no petroleum, no vegetable oils, no vegetable esters. So our product does not get gummy and sticky over time. Now, if you put a petroleum product on top of our product, people have been coming back and saying, "Oh, look, it's black and gummy. Look what your product did to my gun." And it's like, actually, no, that's the petroleum, because our product is a natural degreaser. So it is repelling the petroleum. So that is what is gumming up and getting sticky. It's not our product. Because you can look at, let's take a deer hunter You know, they take their rifle out once a year to go deer hunting, right? And they got to take it out. If they've used, any of the typical products out there, it's usually dried out, and you've got to clean it again before. Now you're going to sight it in, make sure it's sighted in, then you're going to go hunt. Then you're going to clean it and store it, right? Then you'll have to go through that process again. Well, with our product, it's I actually took a couple of my rifles, had cleaned them, put them away, just put them in an SKB hard case. I live 5-6 blocks from the ocean, so the salt air is there. Didn't have them stored in anything special, just that hard case. I waited 8 years before I opened it up to look at it. It felt it was a little tacky, right? I mean, it had been sitting there, but there was no rust. The barrel was still just perfectly clean. Just by wiping it with a paper towel, it was good to go. So all I did was closed it back up, and this December I'm going to open it up again, and it'll be 3 years since that last open. And this time it's like, okay, I'll actually video it, because I didn't. I was just showing it to somebody saying, hey, it's been 8 years, let's take a look at it. So it was like, oh, look, it's good, so we'll put it back. Well, petroleum products, you can't do that. And most products, I don't know of where people could have stored a firearm that long without any issues, especially in a humid climate. That's just kind of one of the benefits with our product, and that makes it different than most of the others on the market.
And it's, I think we were talking a little bit before and about how where you're in California, but your production facility is in Maine. How do you guys deal with, or do you have to deal with sort of supply chain issues? What have been, has that been a problem? How did kind of COVID affect you guys? Because I know a lot of people that are listening to the podcast are in manufacturing businesses, right? So it's always a hot topic of the supply chain.
Yeah. Well, since our product is all USA sourced and made, we're haven't been hit or with any tariffs or anything, so that's good. During COVID, things did get a little sticky, and since we did supply to government agencies at that time, we were able to stay open. And so getting supply, we did run into some issues, especially because of our containers, which are like 4-ounce sizes, is our main size. There was such a run on those containers because it seemed like everybody and their brother came out with an antibacterial agent at that time. So that was a bit of an issue. And then some small companies we dealt with, they had closed down. But we haven't run into, knock on wood, that things have seemed to be, settling out, since then. And I'm just, since COVID, the business world, I mean, it especially like in this industry, nothing has been the same since pre-COVID, and each year has been different. I mean, before it was like everything it was clockwork. You had the fourth, so our fiscal year is with the calendar year. So the third quarter and the first quarter were our two busiest, especially the third because of, the hunting season. Everything kind of went with that. Second quarter end of the third quarter, things slowed down, but then picked up again at the end of the third quarter, going to the fourth quarter. So since then, it's been different. Just each year so far has not kind of been the same. It's like, all right, well, now we got to find a new normal again, I think is what, everybody's just trying to, because it hadn't been normal.
Yeah, well, and you have that kind of that track record too, is because you've been in business for a while. So like you have those two phases. You can see, okay, phase one before, phase two after. For your business, I know there are some firearms businesses that are really impacted by politics, right? So, for example, the Trump slump for like gun manufacturers, like gun sales were down during Trump first term, and then like the Democrats, when they get elected, it's the best thing for gun sales ever. Do you have that kind of ebb and flow on the political scene, or is your product kind of immune to that?
Well, since we are really an accessory to the gun, guns and ammo, right? Guns and ammo dictate the two-way world from, and the short time that I've been in the industry, because really 15 years is a short time for the industry. But we have a good track record, but so we're an accessory. So it really kind of used to be when guns and ammo were selling a lot, accessories went down. And then when, okay, we don't need the rush on the guns because they're not coming for them right now, we're going to, people will start buying the accessories to go with it. And, and our product, and the accessories, so in the two-way world, we're a small dollar item product, right? And then like one of the issues that we've run into with our product is it works where, in the words of some people from this industry, have said, your product works too good. We had a guy who was a rep for POF USA, and in 2 years he shot over 53,000 rounds without cleaning, and the carbon was still just wiping off the firearm. So I know of quite a few people. Another good friend of mine who is an instructor, and he shoots a Glock, and he just says, Dwight, I use your product, but it works so good that, and people say, oh, well, this is what a Glock will do. He goes, but he cleans it every 5,000 rounds and does not do any other maintenance to it, because he goes, I don't have to. It's not, it's still functioning, no issues. So that's one of our issues with the product, is it does what it says. And one of the best compliments I get, Wade, is when people come back, and when I've met them at a show or somewhere talking about the product, and they come back and say, hey, Dwight, your product's doing exactly what you said it would do. And it was like, well, yeah, that's I'm not here to BS you about the product.
Right. Well, and the thing about the one advantage of the 2A community is that it's a small community. One problem for people sometimes is that it is a small community. So if you put something out there that's not what you say it is, that gets around pretty fast.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a good thing too, right? But there's not a lot, and there's not a lot of room for mistakes sometimes in that scenario, right? Because the 2A world can be kind of unforgiving in that way. But it's funny that you say that, because I was thinking about your product, and it is a consumable, right? Because when it is from all, like ammunition, but like you said, is if it works that well, then it's a consumable on a pretty low scale
consumption.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do the next 3 to 5 years look like for you guys? Are you going to continue to expand, try to focus on expanding the product line? Are you going to try to focus on expanding distribution? Kind of what does that look like for you guys over the next couple of years?
Well, so, one thing is that, everybody and I guess it really doesn't matter what market it is. Each year, everybody wants to know, oh, what's new?
Mhm.
What are you going to do that's new? And uh, it's like, look, this product, we can't improve on it. I mean, it's at the point where it's in, it's at its best. You know, um, when it was being developed, there was a lot of different iterations that got to the point of where it found out the right mix of everything. So we keep our product proprietary, and all the ingredients that we put into it is they have to be at the correct amount, or it changes the product on how it works and what it does. Um, and real quick, when I was thinking about something from earlier is, and being that all of our products are natural, you might get a batch that um, looks a little different from one a year earlier, or a year later, and that's just, and they're still doing the same thing, but they look a little bit different, and that's just because of uh, though we use the same ingredient, sometimes they have to be sourced from a different um, uh, a different supplier, even though it's the same stuff, but it's sourced from a different area, right? So for some reason, the natural things, it just kind of changes a little bit. And it's like we've had people, oh, hey, on your liquid, it looks like it's separated a little bit, and it's like, well, that's why we do say shake it up, and all. And I've even had some of the paste where, from using it, and maybe because of dipping my hands into it or whatever, sometimes it's like it's um, almost got little pieces in it, and you look at it and you go, well, that's kind of weird, but you just take it, throw it into the microwave for about 15 seconds, melt it, put it into the fridge to cool it down, and now it goes back into what it was before. And I can't explain why it does that. It's just
Well, it reminds me of I've had people on the show, and like they work with leather for like leather holsters, and it reminds me of that a little bit, where it's like it's impossible to get uniform leather. I mean,
yes,
the components are the benefits of it are the same, the toughness is the same, but aesthetically, you're going to have imperfections because, like you said, it's natural. It's comes from nature, and so nature is always not exactly the same all the time. And that's kind of what it reminds me of.
yeah. And our paste on leather is awesome. It'll bring it back. I mean, we were doing a cleaning at Kittery Trading Post up in Maine, and we this um, older gentleman had come in, and he gave us this pistol. He goes, I've been carrying this in this holster for over 30 years, and the holster was, it was a leather holster that was like, man, it had seen better days,
Hmm.
you know. And so while it was being clean, and he had said, I think I might have to get a new holster. So while one of the guys was cleaning his pistol for him, I just took the holster and started rubbing some of the product on there. And he wasn't watching, he was watching the gun and talking about the product. And I just rubbed some of the product on that while the pistol was being cleaned, and wiped it off and set it back down in front of him. And then when he grabbed his pistol back, he was looking, hey, what happened to my holster? And I was, oh, it's right here. He didn't even recognize it, and he was just, well, what happened? I said, well, I just cleaned it with the product. And he was, oh, good. I guess I don't need a new holster. I went, no, the leather's great. Now it's just, it brought life back, made it supple again. And uh, so this is great. I know guys have used it on their saddles and bridles and all. And our product has a natural antibacterial agent to it.
Hmm.
So There's been lots of stories of people using it for, I mean, one guy told me, yeah, I used it on my sunburn because I didn't have anything else. And I was on the road and, I used it there, and I've used it for chapstick. And yeah, it's amazing. People will, let us know what they've used it for. And that's been a lot of different uses.
Well, I can't wait to try it. I'm going to order some. How do people find you? So the website is seal1, the number 1.com. And then are you guys on socials? If they have questions about the product, how do they reach you?
Yes, we're on Facebook, Instagram, the social media, that way, to the website. And so, we have gone to, I think in about 2018, I think we started selling, maybe 2019. We did start selling on the internet, just, to the consumer, because I mean, that's just the model of the world now, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's people that now only shop online.
Right.
I'm one of them. I hate going to stores, but I like to go direct to the manufacturer myself if I can, and I do try to support USA made products myself. So yeah, we're selling there online, seal1.com, and we keep everything at retail because, and what I'm always telling everybody is, if your local store does not carry the product and you want to get it and try it, come here. You can try it and tell people, hey, use the code FNG it's a one-time code for 15% off. And if you like it, now you go to your local retailer and ask them to start carrying the product. And then that way we can get it out there. And then you'd also ask, we're as far as like coming up with new products, it's really kind of hard to. We've done some accessories, like the gun rag was new this year. And just using some of the components that we use with, one of our kits, people like the microfiber cloth, the nylon brushes, and we've got these 6-inch cotton swabs with a pointed tip and a round tip, and those are US made also. So, supporting those companies there. And we're expanding into internationally more, so talking with some international distributors and just trying to get further out, the reach. I mean, we've, in the 15 years, we've been slowly into some of the, the European and other international markets, and just trying to expand that.
Right.
But it's like I said, I mean, it's very simple. We like to say, seal one and done. It's the only product that you need. It's not a multiple step product. Wipe it on to clean it, wipe it off to lubricate it. And it takes about 3 cleanings. So we like to say it's a clean shoot, clean shoot, clean shoot process. So it's like seasoning a cast iron skillet. And you'll see with each use, it gets easier and easier and easier, to pretty soon don't really have to scrub and scrape anymore. The carbon is just wiping off much easier.
Well, that's great. I can't wait to try it. The email also is info@seal1.com, and the 1 is the number 1. And I'd love to have you get back on the show in 6 months to a year and see how you guys are doing.
All right. Well, thanks, Wade. We appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Dwight. Have a great day.